We've been focusing on how technological platforms and advancement further fuels the weaponization of the federal government in collaboration with big corporations against the American people. At least that was the intent of this hearing, and it is the intent of the folks on this side of the aisle. Today, it is how developments in financial technology have aided the surveillance of the American people. And during our last hearing, we focused on how AI is expanding the monitoring and suppression of speech. Today, I want to focus on new reporting which connects the financial surveillance and AI together. Last month, journalist James O'Keefe posted a report alleging that the IRS and DOJ were utilizing AI technology to assist with the surveillance of American bank accounts. These allegations are that AI can access bank accounts and look inside those accounts versus just seeing activities in the account. This surveillance by the IRS is being done without a warrant, and it is being done in coordination with the DOJ. Just 2 months before this revelation, FinCEN informed us in staff briefings that banks were beginning to deploy AI technology in their business models. Meanwhile, we are watching Google's Gemini's failures from its politically biased model, which Google co-founder Sergey Brin called left-leaning, which I believe is pretty much the understatement of the year. In the report released by this subcommittee last night, we document how the FBI and FinCEN reported information to assist financial surveillance, which certain Americans based on strictly conservative ideas. Mr. Knight, you noted that we are limited to speak on what has been reported related to the financial surveillance regime because so little is known by the public in Congress. The timeline that I just described provides little detail, but it does show that this area is developing very quickly and raises further concerns about federal agencies undertaking dragnet surveillance using financial records. Based on what we know so far about the coordination between the financial sector and federal government, does the addition of AI into this equation cause even greater concern regarding the scope and scale of financial surveillance that we can expect to occur in the future?
So I believe it does for several reasons. One, to the extent that it makes something less expensive, you'll get more of it. Two, to the extent that AI is not well tuned, either intentionally or unintentionally, you're going to get the risk that you're going to not only have more false positives, but also that it's going to start selecting for information that may not be appropriate. Three, there's concern, and I don't want to overblow the concern, but it does exist, that AI tends to be opaque, and this regime is already opaque enough. So if the great and powerful Oz is spitting out records that it considers suspicious and you don't know why, and we can't assess how appropriate it is, that's obviously very problematic. And so I think that we do need to be cautious. And I would say one distinction between this and maybe some other areas is here we're talking about feeding information to the government. So there are constitutional implications here that don't necessarily exist in other areas. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be cautious in other areas, but we should be especially cautious here.
I appreciate your response, and I think that you're actually spot on. Also of concern with the evolution of AI in relation to this liberty infringing regime that we're dealing with right now, the Biden administration, is the fact that it removes human accountability. What we have learned so far is that the information we have so far came from a paper trail from a government employee. Yet with AI, that paper trail is going to disappear. Mr. Michel, what could another layer of secrecy achieved by displacing human action with AI do to further erode our liberties and basic guarantees of privacy?
Well, I mean, at first I would just caution that banks and financial institutions have been using technology at an increasing rate for a very long time, and the problem still, the bigger problem is the principle. And if we guarantee due process and we guarantee that law enforcement needs a warrant to get that information, then I think that's a better place. But aside from that, yes, the better and the broader the technology allows people to reach, or the finer detail that it allows people to get, then obviously the more of it you're going to get. But I think Brian is right in that it's going to make it more efficient and less costly, so you'll get more of it. But again, the principle of the Fourth Amendment, the due process, that's what's key here.
Thank you, I appreciate that. With that, I yield back.